Hello everyone, welcome to my new video. It's been a long time since I was talking about my new oil painting. And no, not these oil paintings. How I painted these oil paintings you can see in my previous videos. In one of my videos I said that I have a huge project. I wanted to test my art skills and to see can I paint like an old master from previous centuries without reference photos. Some of you who hear this idea maybe already have an answer. The answer is no, you can't, because this is too difficult. In fact, we are not sure who can paint this. But I decided that I don't want to give up. I wanted to create a portrait of a woman in a style of old masters. So I had my new canvas, and this canvas is similar to the size of this canvas. Idea came to my mind. The main reason why we, modern people, can differentiate the modern paintings from old paintings, not only because of the techniques that have been used or the paints that artists choose to use, or because these paintings were masterpieces. No, the main reason is the people on these portraits. At first I was thinking maybe this is because the fashion, maybe I was gonna say something stupid. I'm not an anthropologist, but I think that people change through centuries, and by that I mean that the proportion is changing. For example, if you look at the old paintings, you often would see a large forehead, large chin, very thin long nose and round big eyes. I'm not saying that all of the paintings were like that, but if you would look at the, Renaissance paintings or other paintings, and not only because there were other beauty standards at that time, face structure of the modern people comparing to the people from past. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I chose to do. So I opened Procreate and started experimenting. And when I started drawing in Procreate, I realized how many things I need to think of. Since I didn't have reference, I needed to come up with the idea how the face picture would look like. I needed to think about composition, body structure, and of course color. So after I made a terrible sketch, I realized that if I want to make a good painting, I need to create a plan. So the step one was to find the right colors. I opened my old books of paintings of Brilov and started making studies. When I was making the studies, I wasn't interested in creating perfect proportions or composition. I was just focusing on the colors. So when I was painting these paintings, I realized that this is definitely not the color palette that I want to choose for my future painting. Yes, these paintings are beautiful, but I had this idea to create a portrait of ornithologist. I wanted my painting to have this happy mood, so everyone who would look at this painting would feel like, yeah, this is cool, this is someone who enjoys what they're doing. And as you can see, I was also making another terrible sketches, trying to find the right color palette. I don't want to talk about this sketch, this is a complete mess. So for some time I give up on the colors. The vision that I have is very blurry. I cannot understand anything what I see. This is why I decided to leave color for a while and just focus on composition and on the proportions. I was looking at this book, and as you can see, I was making many sketches, and finally I made a perfect sketch. I took the sketch and started it coloring. Again, at this time I had no idea which colors to choose. This is why I was just painting from imagination, trying different colors. The more I was realizing that this is not how I see my painting, that this is not it, that I need to change it again. So I was very impatient and I did a very stupid thing. I was thinking like, okay, maybe I cannot create a good painting because my drawing surface is very small and I just need to take big canvas and start painting. And I already knew that I should not do that, but I did it anyway. At that time, I had a canvas, and for some reason, I don't know why I decided to do that, this was very stupid of me, but I decided to do it anyway. I created a complete mess, and I absolutely hate what you see on the screen, so I was so happy when I covered this painting. At this point, I was very disappointed in myself because I could not understand what's going on inside my head, what I see in my imagination, and which colors I want to choose. Until one day, when I was looking at my feed, I saw a photo of singer Zora from the Blackbriar. I follow her pages on Instagram. I saw she posted this photo. When I saw this photo, it immediately struck me and I was like, that's it. That's what I was looking for. That's the colors I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about bright sunlight. I looked at the many different reference photos with similar light. At that time I wasn't sure exactly which color tones to choose, but it was similar to this color palette. And that's when fun begins. And at that time I realized, that's it. That's the colors that I was seeing in my vision. But sometimes my imagination failed me. And sometimes I have very clear vision in my mind and I can create, but sometimes I'm not sure what I see in my imagination. This is why I had to take these extra steps, trying to find the right color, composition, proportions, and value structure. That bright sunlight is the perfect for this painting. That if I would choose these warm colors, it would make this painting look more cheerful, more happy. It would show you that there is this ornithologist. We're not sure who she is. A huge part of her face is in the shadow. I started working in black and white colors. I wanted to create grisaille painting, and then I wanted this layer of paint to dry, and by using glazing technique, color it, and then work on the details. Even though the beginning of this project was complete mess because I didn't know what I want to do with this painting. I'm glad that I spent so much time working on it. Slowly, step by step, my vision became clear. I had no idea how to make this painting like I wanted to make. When I was painting this ornithologist, as I said before, I was inspired by Nadezhda Ladygina-Kots, the first Russian zoopsychologist. She lived and worked in the 20th century, and when I was painting it, I didn't have the idea that I want to make face features exactly as Nadezhda had in her life. No, I just wanted to hint that maybe this is her. But I chose to paint the face like you see on the screen because I wanted to create the feeling like this painting is not modern. That this painting was painted years ago. If you paint large forehead, big chin, big eyes and thin, long nose, you can create this effect like this is the woman you see on the portrait is not from this century. She lived many years ago. And when I was able to achieve this exact proportion that I wanted to achieve, I was so happy. I was like, yes, my idea worked. When I was painting it, I didn't know which birds to choose for this painting. So I chose the birds called Fieldfare. I chose these birds because these birds are very beautiful. Plus, not so long time ago, I saw these birds. This is why I painted them. And I know that the zoopsychologist Nadezhda worked mostly with crows and parrots, but I didn't want to paint crows or parrots. My idea was that this is wild birds and they came to her, that she was able to train them. So I chose these two things. One of them helps you to measure the size of the birds, and the other is helping you to check the bird's health. Sorry, I forgot how to translate. when I was painting it and adding colors, I was enjoying every moment of creating this painting. So at this point, I realized that this painting is finished. Yeah, I could work on it more, but I'm already satisfied with the result. I liked what I created, and I asked myself, does this painting look like this not modern painting and from previous centuries? And the answer is yes and no. But the light maybe is too dramatic for this effect of old masters painting. Plus, my painting didn't have many details like academic art would have. My artist looked more like it's realistic art than academic. If I would choose a bigger canvas, then it would be easier for me to paint small details like eyelids, eyelashes, all the details in eyes. It would be much easier, but my canvas was this size. This is why it was challenging. But for the experiment, I think this is a good result. After me struggling with this project, I finally was able to correct it and finished the painting. And to summarize this video, does this painting look like it painted by old master? No, I think it looks like it painted by a student who was in the studio of old master, who was only starting his art journey. This artist already could paint, but he was not perfect. I think that's the vibe that I have from this painting. Will I do that again? I'm not sure that I would do something similar, because the more I'm trying to paint in a tight, realistic style, that's very close to academic style, the more I start hating myself, because this is, I mean, I really love the academic art, but I'm not someone who enjoys painting it. I prefer painting in realistic and impressionistic styles. I've heard that the stereotype that if you want to create a good portrait, you need to always use reference photo and almost copy this reference photo. I disagree with that. I think if I would continue painting in this style and create more portraits from imagination, I would be able to train myself, so I would be able to paint any face without reference. The only question is how much time it takes to learn that, because as you saw in the beginning, I had huge problems with the proportions on my sketches, and I'm talking both in traditional and digital sketches. But the more you draw something, the better you become at it. So I think this is possible. I don't think that people really like to train these skills, because like, why would you paint from imagination and create many problems for yourself if you can just have reference photo and then paint from reference photo, right? So yeah, that's it. Today I'm the Little Mermaid who's boiled in the kitchen instead of the Sebastian. The weather in the recent days where I live is just insane. It's so hot. It's every day somewhere between 25 degrees to 35 degrees. And I'm boiling. My brain is not working very well. I have my fan here. Maybe you are curious what I'm gonna be doing in my next videos. I'm creating new animation in Procreate Dreams. I'll try to finish it soon. This animation would be based on a cartoon and movie How to Train Your Dragon. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this my challenging art project, and I'll see you in next videos. Bye.